Is Shark Tank one of your favorite TV shows? Have you thought about starting your own product, or maybe you did start because of Shark Tank? You thought, hey, if they can do it, I can do it. Well, today I am joined by Chennelle and Justin, co-founders of GoodLove Foods, and they were just on Shark Tank. And you're going to hear about their decision to go on Shark Tank and what the experience was like, and now what's next after it's finally aired. Stay tuned. Welcome to Your Food Business Success. This podcast is for early stage entrepreneurs in the packaged food industry ready to finally turn that delicious idea into reality. I'm your host, Sari Kimball. I have guided hundreds of food brand founders to success as an industry expert and business coach, and it's gotta be fun. In this podcast, I share with you mindset tools to become a true entrepreneur and run your business like a boss. Interviews with industry experts to help you understand the business you are actually in, and food founder journeys so you can learn what worked and didn't work and not feel so alone in your own journey. Now let's jump in. All right, welcome back to the podcast, everyone. This is a really special treat. I know I say that a lot, but this one really, really is. Welcome back, Chennelle DeYoung and her partner in the business and in life, Justin Beaver. And we're super excited. They are the co-founders of GoodLove Foods. So welcome back, Chennelle.
Thank
And
you.
welcome, Justin.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. And you're a three-peat, Chennelle. This is
I know. I'm so like in major stages, you've been able to catch us at our biggest growth spurts. So this is by far the biggest, but you were there when we were just a little baby company when it was still me and Justin was like, helping on the sidelines still. And now we're both literally risking it for the biscuit, like 100% full time all the time.
I love it. You guys have the best catchphrases, by the way, for sure. All right. Well, we're going to talk all things Shark Tank. But before we get into that, we're not going to do the big reveal yet. Give us the quick backstory on the business. I know people can go and listen to episode number 72 and 135 if they want to hear the full story of each of your stages, and you've had many in between, but give us the kind of synopsis of GoodLove Foods.
Well, really, this is a partnership. He's my husband, he's my partner in business. And we really wanted to bring what we've grown and learned together as a couple, as it relates to food and create it into a business because we knew other people were feeling the same way. But we're both celiac. When I met Justin in 2008, when we first started dating, it was the first time I ever learned what gluten-free was. And as someone who grew up baking and being in the kitchen constantly, I wanted to be able to provide that same sort of love and affection through food. And so I was like, I have to learn what this is. So I bought a Gluten-Free for Dummies book. I taught myself what it truly meant to be a celiac and to be gluten-free. And I apparently won him over. One of the first meals I ever made for him was gluten-free chili and cornbread. You think it's really easy, but until you truly understand all the nuances of the ingredients and things like that, it's hard, especially if you've never done gluten-free baking before, gluten-free cooking. So then about 6 years into dating, I just felt better. Didn't know I shouldn't be bloated all the time and have these other reactions to food. And I got tested and I have the markers for celiac disease. And so just having that background and of course, how, as you'll find out, how funny Justin is, and he's got we call him his Justinisms. We always wanted to start our own company, whether that was going to be food or not. We worked for lots of local startups and inspired by, local people here that have been doing it for themselves. And during 2020, with the pandemic, and a lot of companies like did this too, or people, I should say, entrepreneurs were like, I want to do something different with my life. Like what's that inspiration? And food has always been our inspiration. And in 2020, started really prototyping our first product and trying to develop our own brand. And Good Love was the name that popped into my head. And Justin and I worked together. We created this brand and we prototyped our first product. And then we launched it in 2021, which was our buttermilk biscuits. And now we are here today with 4 products. We have our own facility. We ship nationwide. And we have this amazing following of customers and, of course, local supporters just really cheering us on, which is really exciting.
And I'm just so delighted and
You were there
honored
from the
to,
beginning.
from the very beginning, you joined Food Business Success and we started meeting and you had all the branding down. I mean, that was an area that you came from your world anyway. And so you did a beautiful job with the branding, but all of the logistical, legal, packaging, production, all of that. And just to watch you, from that little facility down south to then making a leap to getting your own facility and working through that in one-on-one coaching. And then you really stepping up to become the CEO of your business and Justin joining you full time, which is amazing. And I know we joke, and we're gonna cuss for a second on this podcast, but your story, you're like, I just get the case of the like, well, fuck it, let's just do it.
Yeah, yeah, that's exactly
We've
what
already made all the wrong mistakes in life, like, but we're still here.
the one thing I will say about Justin when it comes to those moments where I'm like, what the hell, or like, screw this, or fuck this, for really, is, someone who believes in me and believes in us to be able to be like, all right, like, let's do this. You feel so passionate about it, then like, go for it. Anytime I've applied for a pitch competition or wanted to take that leap or be like, all right, well, we're paying a really small amount of rent in a shared kitchen, but we could increase our production by like signing this lease on our own kitchen. And that was a huge, huge leap. And he's like, go sign it. Like, we'll figure it out after, but we need
I mean,
this.
you guys sold your
Started,
house, you
I started
moved.
applying for jobs up north like immediately,
Yeah,
just
like
just
that
to
kind of
cover.
support
We had
is,
no idea how we were going to cover the lease.
and or how to make it work, because we weren't living where our current facility is in Longmont. We were still in Littleton, which is about an hour south. And so yeah, just having someone be like, we need this. I believe in us. Let's just do it. Sign the papers. And that sort of led us through every big growth phase, because you can work incrementally, it can be a little bit safe, but I'd rather risk it and not, be safe, if the payoff is going to be, ultimately in the long run better for us and what our vision is.
Yeah. Yeah. And you did a little bit of the effort and what the hell, you applied for like the pitch competition at Expo West and I got to join you for that, which was amazing. So that was spring of 23 and you guys were, you were having good traction, kind of in e-commerce and getting into some local wholesalers. And
And the
then,
Winners Farmers Market in Fort
and
Collins.
the Winter Farmers Market. That's right. That's really where you made it.
Proof of
Just
concept.
That's right. And you got into Fort Collins stores and people were loving you for sure. Everywhere you went, people were like blown away because it does not, unbelievably gluten free, right?
Yes.
So, so, but then tell us what happened. I guess it would be like the winter of 23, right? Going into 24.
So I would say the year of 2023 was kind of like our year of pitching and like really, really getting our brand out there, in front of bigger audiences as they related to CPG, investors, things like that. And so we kicked off the year with Expo West, as you said. That was amazing. That was like the first big stage, and also like the Super Bowl of like CPG, anything. That was like wild to like really start our journey there. Then we did a couple of local ones. We were we won the top prize at the Colorado Collision in the middle of the summer of 2023, which is part of the CSU Spur campus. We won this this was so amazing to win. But brand builder of the year with Colorado Food Works, which was awesome. Then we closed out 2023 by winning Denver Startups Week's pitch competition, which was really interesting because that was also one of those like screw it moments. I'm gonna apply for this because technically it was more of that like tech space that you think about when you think of like quote unquote startup weeks. But I didn't let that hold us back. You know, we're a CPG brand, CPG company, and whatever we pitched and how we presented ourselves, like that's how we won, and that was amazing.
I'm very grateful she says we so much, but she's the pitcher. Like she grew up a catcher and I was a pitcher, but now like I don't
You
I
catch
don't
her.
even play baseball anymore. Like we don't
But
have time for that.
you are a huge part
Yes,
of the brand for
and
sure.
so
Yes,
he's
she
one
is the
the
face on the
inspiration.
stage.
Um, but really, we went viral once towards the end of 2023, which was awesome. Like when I say viral too, like for us, it was like going from 5,000 followers to 10 to 15,000, which was like a huge leap for us. And then in, I think it was January of 2024, so kicking off early last year, we went really, really viral on one of our posts and went up to almost 70,000 in followers and got like 6
And it
million
was
views on one of our
millions
videos.
of
It
views
was
too.
wild. And of
Yeah.
course, that equated to just like this rush of sales. And we had to go through this whole pre-order process because it's literally just two of us manufacturing by hand all of our products. We pack and ship every single one of our orders by hand. And even still, but maybe at this stage of growth, we can finally hire. But all through last year, we were going through that pre-order process. We would sell out, then we'd have to shut down the website. And we, so hard to keep up with demand,
Yeah.
validating at the same time. But it was a
Just the
really,
customer service
yeah,
associated
it
with
was a really rough year just
Yeah.
in terms of growth. Growth is
Every
great.
time I would see you, I'd be like, these are all really good problems to have, but they
Yeah.
are problems. And you guys were
Yeah.
stressed, you were stretched thin. I hope you're okay with this, but I do want to give a shout out to Kayla King because we have her
Yes.
social media course, and she's the one who really helped you guys go viral and figure out that space.
Well, and for, definitely give props to Kayla. She, from the beginning, when we were still literally hand delivering products locally door to door, she was one
in
of our,
our 1999 Volvo cross country wagon.
Nice.
Good time.
she was one of our first customers and like first people to like shout us out on social media. And it
Mm,
was amazing to have that and to finally get into sort of that community online. So she definitely opened up those doors and then she helped us out with social media for most of 2023 and into 2024. And really blew up our presence that way. And that was really amazing to have. And of course, she's still like a huge part of our brand
huge
and she's always
fan.
cheering us on.
Yeah.
So grateful for her that she worked her magic.
Yes, 100%. Oh my gosh. All right, so you guys went viral and all of a sudden, I mean, I remember seeing you at the Christmas party and you were like, it's amazing. And also, holy shit, like
Yes.
we aren't sleeping, we aren't eating, like we open the website and it crashes. People are like we run out of product, in minutes. It's insane. And then of course you decide to add pizza crust in there somehow for some
Yeah, just throw
reason too.
more products in.
My
But
favorite
no.
part of the year, since you mentioned the Christmas party, was winning the costume, uh,
Yes, of
ugly
course.
sweater, the ugly sweater contest.
That's his contribution is what you will put it. He has his own stage. I'll pitch on a stage,
Yes.
but there's other ways that Justin will be Justin and also is the embodiment of the brand and the presence the feelings we're trying to
Yeah.
evoke with who we want, how we want our customers to feel.
Yeah.
Um, but
It's fun,
that's
right? Good Love Foods is about fun and integration and inclusion and everybody
Yeah,
gets to bring their weird, right?
yeah. Just and to feel like you're okay to be this way and to eat this way, like there's zero stipulation behind it, or we like take away the stigma. It's okay, and also it's safe. So there's different people that eat our products and love our products, I think, because we have that sort of like open arm, like we just want you to enjoy food and feel that same level of care and love.
I don't remember what I ate 16 and a half years ago, like before her, before I met Chennelle. I have no idea how I survived. I
You've
mean,
been eating well. For sure. All right, so you have four products. You have started with the biscuits, then the cinnamon rolls, then the puff pastry, which is my favorite because it's amazing. I take that to parties and people are like, "What? This is gluten-free. This is crazy." And then you added the pizza crust. So, and I get your emails. So basically, like I see the emails that are like, the pre-order window opens at this time and for this long, and when it's sold out, it's sold out, and you guys are busting your ass, you are in production, you're doing all these things. I have had conversations with many want to be CPG entrepreneurs who have said, I was watching Shark Tank the other day and I saw this brand on there and I thought, well, I make something really great, and if they can do it, I can do it. And I cannot tell you how many people I have talked down from that. But I will say that Shark Tank has been an incredible inspiration for many startups and founders and getting going. And I have a lot of people who say, like, maybe one day I'll get on Shark Tank. So tell us a little bit about your journey. I have a feeling it was a little bit of another what the hell.
Yes.
she picked an
So,
Expo West, so that like set the bar. Like you've already been on this huge stage,
yeah.
like, and we were
I mean, it
successful
wasn't
there.
national television, to be
No,
fair.
but we didn't win. So like
But just
that
even to be
happening,
part of where our vision of our brand was going, we are mainly a D2C company, so I should say that because we when we blew up online, I mean, people really demanded our products and we're like, all right, let's figure out the shipping. Like we can do this, we can ship a frozen food product. So we figured out how to do that, and then we've been able to scale from there as a brand and solidify our place in the market, and also just have that like really high quality customer service and customer loyalty from the beginning. But our vision still is to be a grocery store staple and to be at this like huge expo where it's mainly about like retail and just being in that CPG, I don't know, that like high volume, high production, like focus was like, this is where we want to be. But at the time, we had like 50,000 in sales total. We were still hand delivering.
I was
We
still
just
working my
started
full-time
shipping.
job.
So, I mean, that to just to go back a little bit, that really was a huge lift. And like, all right, if they invited us to be on the stage, like we know we can go places. And so that was also encouraging for me as the founder originally to want to continue to set the bar high and to continue to apply for pitches or what are some other ways we can continue to grow our brand feasibly, like economically at the same time, but like how do we continue to do that and scale at the same time? It's a juggling act. And I'm sure
It
that's why
is.
when you talk people down, like I love having those ideas. And, we could have probably started a business 10 years ago, but through a lot of our own personal learnings, professional learnings, we felt it was the right time. And also, I think you would understand this, but as an entrepreneur, I feel like you have to have the right mindset going into it. If you have a great idea, that's awesome, but don't be scared by basically you're just solving problems. Scaling isn't as easy as pressing a button. Even like we don't have a co-packer. I would love a co-packer.
Shout out to anybody.
Anyone listening?
Anybody
Um,
listening?
but even if you had the funds to get a co-packer to produce your first product as a CPG founder, that's great. But there's still so many growth spurts and growing pains that you go through that you're still trying to solve problems along the way.
That's all you
And
do. Solve
it's
problems.
even through all of that, we've been pushing forward and having nights where we just like work double shifts and we're crying. Justin likes to say we cry in between shifts and like we've grown past that a little bit. But when it came to like one of the biggest stages to pitch, Shark Tank, it was one of those moments also where, all right, I did all this, like I did some regional and some localized pitching. Um, we got some really great feedback and some prizes to help us scale, but it didn't get us to that point. And I was thinking about we could start to pitch to some local investors, and even then, like it was, well, we need to see at least you
The
know,
requirements would change once we
one and a half
met.
million in revenue before we even think about, that. And so
Yeah.
I was like, all right, well, we're not going to be there yet. And we have to scale now, especially with our demand. And that's really what led us to Shark Tank. Also, another moment I had applied to another local pitch competition because it was a higher cash prize. And I was like, didn't get in. And that kind of hurt my ego a little bit, but at the
Mhm.
same time, pushed me forward to something bigger. So I
Yeah.
applied online to Shark Tank. I looked to see if there were any casting calls at least close enough, but they were all like either East Coast or West Coast, and I didn't have the money or time to spend to go to an open casting call. So I did an online quick submission and then heard back within a couple of weeks, and then the process kind of went from there.
I'm curious because yes, you knew you needed to scale and $1,000 here, 2,000, whatever, right? 5,000 here and there is not like going to fix that
Right.
kind of issue, right? Yes, you were able to buy a little bit of equipment or maybe bring in some help here and there, but like you guys have huge, that is your biggest issue, right? Like other people have different problems. If you're a hot sauce, like everyone knows what a hot sauce is. You can easily get it co-packed, but you have other problems of like how do you stand out in the marketplace? You guys have like this unique product that's wildly amazing and you have this great loyal as you called them feral
Yeah.
fans and you have amazing branding and the product's amazing, but the production is where everything grinds. Like it's the bottleneck because you, like you said, you're doing like this stuff is finicky. It's not like regular wheat, gluten-filled stuff, and you need very specialized processes and systems for it. And so you guys, I know
Yeah.
your
This is a
arm,
specialized
80,000
equipment.
biscuits.
That was like last year.
Oh yeah, now it's probably double that, but
That's right. So, but scaling like that, either in your own facility or, if you were able to find that co-packer, which is so difficult with your kind of product, is like you need a big chunk of cash to do that. But
right.
I'm curious why you felt like Shark Tank was the right move versus maybe an SBA loan or friends and family or some other kind of capital raises.
That is a good question. I think for us, like we looked into that and we have lines of credit and we do have additional loans we were able to get, but that still only helped incrementally to help scale our D2C. And so now that we have that D2C, which is going great, it still hinges on production. I think it also was a, a bigger validating point for us to be able to be on a show like that and to be able to show our brand to customers, potential customers in a different light, and to really, again, just solidify ourselves in the marketplace as a brand that's here to stay, but also is scalable. And we do want to be that household staple. So I think in the long term, our vision is like we need to express that, and what better
Mhm.
way to do that than being on Shark Tank. Of course, you don't know what the outcome is going to be, or if you're going to get a deal, or if they were going to hate the products when they tried it. They didn't, which that was awesome to like hear like all of these positive comments and reviews from these sharks like trying our products for the first time, being like, this is like blow my mind amazing. And
I
you're like,
know
thank you.
they.
Oh my gosh. And so I think the outcomes could have been negative.
They
I'm
they were
For us,
surprised.
negative, which is why I feel she had the drive to apply for Shark Tank.
what was negative?
Yeah, you had been
The
validated along the
the
way.
investment, like
Oh,
investors, like, no, we can't touch you until you're at 250,000 in sales, and then,
Yeah.
oh no, now it's 500,000. The economy's changed now. Oh well, now it's 1 million. Like,
yeah.
what do you
Yeah.
like? We're like getting to these incremental like milestones, but there was no one actually willing to help out.
Like people were,
Yeah.
but the funny thing is like they would start preface by like saying, you've got a great brand, you've got a great products, and you're showing great traction, but you're just not there yet. So why not be like put on a stage where at least whatever else could have happened after, like, I don't know if you want to say yet
Yeah,
without,
no, I want to wait. Hang on.
but like just being able to like show our demand in a different way and show like I don't know, I
And
guess
show the brand, right?
yeah, we wanted to show
And
it's a way to show off a little bit and that's okay and that's what we wanted to do. We wanted to show our personality, which is huge for I think why so many folks have loved our brand from the beginning, you
yeah,
know.
Some people still
yeah,
don't understand why I was there. Like it was entertainment. Like didn't
right.
understand it was I was there for entertainment.
Oh, instead of pitching with me, but
Like
we'll talk about
Mm-hmm.
that.
it's
Yeah.
so fun.
Well, yeah, yeah, investment is challenging for sure. And it just keeps getting more and more challenging.
Mhm.
And I will say, I do think that frankly women in CPG get a rawer deal and it's a little, it can be a little bro club to some extent and money is harder and harder. And it's so frustrating because it's always like this chicken or the egg. You're like, yeah, I know you want this kind of traction in the marketplace, but we can't get there until we get some cash infusion to be able to scale up, And it's like, at what point will somebody finally give you a shot and say, yes, I believe in you and I believe in the product and I believe in, the possibility of this. And so, my suspicion, and you confirmed it, was that like Shark Tank was a place, whether you got, whether if all of them said no, which was always a possibility, you still get this massive exposure and you never
Right.
know who is watching that's like, I want to take a risk on her. I see the potential. And so it's the marketing, it's, all the other fringe benefits that come with a stage like that.
Right.
So I see, I totally understand now. And what you definitely experience that we'll talk about is like they also want a lot, right? They want more than maybe a typical investor would take, but it's kind of that exchange, right? And so, what I love, and you keep talking about your vision, and I love that so much. We do that in Master Your Business where we really talk about your mission and your vision and your 10x goal. And it's like you guys want to be a household grocery staple in the grocery store, right? Not even necessarily just only, natural natural stores, but also conventional, like that inclusion and being, something for everyone, like bringing in the gluten-free and celiac and all of these
Also
pieces.
institutional, not just retail, but
Mm,
just hospitals,
yeah.
schools.
We have a larger vision past retail, but it's part of that inclusivity, and it's part of building whatever it is like I don't want to say empire. That's but maybe I should.
Yeah,
Like the female
absolutely.
business owner because I think that's why we're still here is because of that like grounding we were able to get with some of your courses, but really truly focused on the why. I think what's really hard for entrepreneurs too is like maybe they're a little wishy-washy about their brand or understood like as you start to scale, even if you have a good product, there's going to be some changes you're going to have to make and maybe not complete pivoting, but you're going to have to adjust. But like how are you going to scale something without pivoting too much?
Yeah.
Or what are the points? Like we've hit so many roadblocks and issues with cash flow. Basically, most of the time, the issues with cash flow, like, all right, well, if this isn't working, then like we need to switch like gears completely and do this. And like those moments are like, no, we have a great product. We have to focus on the product and remember what our vision is and then bring it back. And then that's what's always kind of helped us like get through the hardest times is like
Yeah.
knowing we already have quality, amazing products that aren't found on the market and like sticking with it.
We had a midnight biscuit last night. Like we're still eating our
We love
product,
our,
and it
yeah, we
was
eat them all
like,
the time.
wow,
Absolutely.
why is this so good right now? It was just with some jam. Like
Amazing. Well, and yesterday we were literally, I was just coaching this round of Master Your Business on that 10x goal, and I was challenging people to go bigger. And I think you're absolutely right because you have this big goal, this 10x vision where you're like, or in Jim Collins' words, like your BHAG, right? Your big, hairy, audacious goal. It's big enough that it challenges you and it forces you to take bigger leaps. If you had just said, well, I mean, we want to, be a regional grocery store brand, and like it's not challenging, it's not exciting enough to get you to be taking the action that you have been taking, the leaps, right? The leaps to getting your own space, the leaps to applying for pitch competitions, the leaps to hiring a social media person to help you, the leaps, the leaps, the leaps, right? Bringing Justin in full time was a big leap. Like that's super scary when you're like, whoa.
I wake up next to my boss every morning, or like 3 times during the night because I don't sleep well. But
Fair enough. Yeah. So, I mean, I guess what I really want people to take away from this conversation is like, it doesn't always have to look like your path, but you need a goal that's big enough and you need to be willing to like get out of your comfort zone, say F it, what the hell, and try, go for things. And that
Yeah.
had to be terrifying. I mean, you have been honing your pitch for years, and I loved watching your pitch. Like you were dialed. I don't know if you thought that, but you like did not miss a beat on
she couldn't
anything.
remember. She blacked out.
Well,
I bet.
the Q&A part, that was, but I will say, if people could see the day to day, they probably wouldn't be like, oh, I don't think I could do that. And even people in our direct, like, social circle, our friends and family who don't still understand what we do every single day, I don't know if they saw exactly what we do or how we push ourselves every day, that if they would really want to do this themselves.
No.
It is
You guys
the
are you're
hardest
doing
thing.
dishes. You're
Yeah.
like, you're covered in not flour, but your flour, your gluten-free flour.
We
Like,
I grew up as an endurance athlete, and this is by far the most
yeah,
like physically demanding thing.
Mentally, it is
Mentally, yeah,
like a marathon that never ends, which, yeah, if you're not into endurance sports or if you don't know what that actually feels like, well, it's just nonstop.
yeah,
And again, just bringing it back to that why and our vision, and like that's what's really, whenever we felt like straying off the path or felt like quitting, even, like it's just brought us back to where we are. And then thinking of like, all right, if this is our vision, like what is the next biggest thing that we can do to get us there?
yeah,
Granted, we're going to have to take, we're going to have people trying to take a little bit of our business away from us, which is fine. But you know what? In the end, if it gets us to that goal and appeals to our larger audience, then that's where our brand is going to take us, as
yeah,
long as we remain focused on like who we are. And I think as someone who's building a brand initially on, I like to tell people like, it's like you have a baby and you're
mhm,
teaching this baby and you're sharing this baby with the world, but it also has to change along with your customers and like grow with them. And if something isn't resonating or something's off with your product or your brand, like customers are going to realize that and maybe stray away. But I think we've been so dialed in with who we are from the beginning that we've grown with our customers.
yeah. I love that. All right. So for time's sake, I want to get into, so we are going to spoil alert. So this is kind of, we're spoiling it if you don't want to know the outcome. But I wasn't able to come to your watch party in Denver, but I was still in Costa Rica. But I watched it the next day and it was so fun. I literally was on the couch, just like, ah!
We were too. We were too. Even though we knew it happened, it was our first time
Yeah.
seeing it, and we were like,
Oh my gosh. Yeah, you never know how they're going to put it all together.
yeah,
So you do your amazing pitch. Justin and some other guys come out on
yeah.
rollerblades and they're dancing while the judges are trying it. Again, that like showing off that brand, that fun-loving, inclusive brand. Everybody's raving about it. They cannot believe this is gluten-free, blah, blah, blah. They're just like can't stop. And then for various reasons, everybody turns you down except Lori. And it's like, okay, Lori, it's up to you. And so she makes an offer and she feels confident, that she can help you in the freezer space. I mean, the freezer space is no joke. And every judge that or shark that turned you down was basically like, the freezer space, it's hard, really hard.
Again,
But
another
Lori,
challenge that we signed up for unbeknownst to us.
I know you didn't. Well, I probably told you how hard it was, but you don't know. You don't know what you
you
don't
don't know
know.
until you're in it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, Lori makes you an offer of you guys were asking for 150,000. She offers that for 20% of your company. So tell me about your when in that moment when she's making that offer, what was going through your
Well,
head?
here's the thing too. I'll say a little bit. I can't delve too much into the process behind like Shark Tank, but it's grueling. Like it, I feel like it. And you know, the preface behind, not the underlying stipulation behind all of it is like nothing's ever guaranteed. You know, like you could go through the whole developing your pitch and doing all this hard work, creating your own set design. All of that is all on you as an entrepreneur, to provide those. And we don't have a graphics team. We don't have a design team. We don't have a PR team. Or it's literally just the two of us. So doing that
A lot
all
of whiteboards, like just jotting things down all
Yeah,
day.
you guys
design,
have
even designing, you know, our shirts, like leading all up into that. That's just really hard, constant work. Which I felt like encompassed most of last year, in addition to, you know, our whole pre-order system. So
yeah.
leading up to actually finally being invited to pitch was huge and really exciting. And yes, I practiced nonstop that pitch. I like Justin every 5 minutes in the car. I was like, "Are you ready? Can I do it again? Can I do it again? Are you okay?" And
There's a long
me
drive.
thinking like he was going to be like, "No, you got it down." He was always like, "No, say it again." Like being
Let's hone it.
supportive. Let's hone it. So I nailed that down, but being there, it's a whole different experience. They
Yeah, the
and
lights are on
the
and
producers tell you or try to coach you like, all right, well, here's some of the questions that the sharks may ask if you haven't watched the show. Like, you know, I would, you know, suggest watching some of these episodes just to see how they ask the questions because they're all asking questions at the same time and different locations of the room. They're very spread out. So you're kind of like,
I've been training her for over 16 years, just interrupting her. So that was,
but
they do interrupt a lot.
yes.
leading up into the Q&A, I felt confident. I'd done other pitches before, but still, it doesn't prepare you for that type of experience. It's a whole different ball game. It's a televised event, and you're filmed. And again, you don't know how it's going to be edited in the end either. But the things that were going through my head was just like, I just want to answer your questions. I want to be, I want to represent our brand and myself as the entrepreneur that like I know what struggles we face and I totally understand like your concerns, but also how do I back that up? Like how do I then like continue to um I get
Rebuttals.
yeah, like not I don't want to even say rebuttal, but like how do I continue to like let the sharks know that I understand your concerns, we get it, but also this is why like we need the investment, which is the whole reason why we're there is because we have those problems, but we also one of the best problems we have is our insane demand. Like so through the Q&A process, I felt positive. As even after they started the whole I'm in or I'm out situation and people were, you know, the sharks were opting out, I was
Mm.
still feeling pretty confident because I felt like we were representing ourselves positively and, you know, on the level. And then when it got to Lori, it was one of those immediate, like the way that her energy was and the way that she was like, this is what I'm going to offer. And this was not in the airing, but she did talk about how someone in her life is also celiac. And
Mm,
so our brand resonated with her on top of her loving our products. So in my
I
head
love that.
too, I was like, 20% was way above the 5% that I asked, but also part of our strategy going in and totally understand their concerns. And so I offered 18 and she took it. And she's
Yeah.
like, we're going to have your brand in every single grocery store. When someone says they want something that's gluten free, I want them to say, let's go get some Good Love. And I was like, yes,
Yes,
that
I
is our
know.
vision. So I think if that scenario was maybe with a different shark, with maybe could have offered the same amount, the same percentage, but the feeling wasn't there, you know, maybe we would have said no. But I think things felt right. Things still feel right with her as our investor and as our partner going into this. And I believe truly that she will help us and be our leverage to get into grocery stores to truly be that staple.
Yeah. And the reality is, grocery is really hard, and the freezer is even like 10
Yeah.
times harder. And so, yeah, the you're not just getting an investment, you're also getting a partner.
Right.
And she clearly knows that space and has done well with other brands. And so you are also getting, we sometimes forget it's not just about the money, it's about all of the access that they have, right? You're essentially like you bought in a way with equity, her Rolodex and her connections and her desire to want to see this, right? To help keep you guys going. And so I don't know what you can share with us now that you know that because you guys filmed in like the fall, right? Of last year,
September.
So
September.
it was a while ago that we filmed, so it was fun being able to finally see it and to
Yeah,
react with
six
everyone
months,
else.
7 months later, you were, I guess, yeah, 7 months plus. So
I
you
think
were
that
able to finally watch it.
I think the compromise on the percentage, like we have already invested for 3 years attempting to get this type of investor.
Mm.
So like
So you were okay with
we'd already,
the
yeah,
I mean, it's high, right? Like, I mean, I think most advisors would say, 18% is high. Um, yeah, it's like giving away a lot of your company, but as we're talking about, all of the other benefits too. And so would you be able to scale as quickly without somebody like her? We don't know exactly, but it would take a lot longer for
we've been
sure.
Yeah.
trying, like we've invested so much in finding those co-packers, but
We did like
Yeah.
last year while we were going through that big growth phase, still, also thinking about like, all right, if the time did come to invest, like what are we willing to give up equity
Yeah.
wise for that? Or even like, all right, well, we need to start shopping for loans and like what's the largest amount of loan we can get and what would be feasible. All of those things were happening while we were blowing up online and while we were actually physically going to meet with possible co-packers who, even if we found a few that could fulfill even some of our products, that was so difficult and really really frustrating because that was also kind of like the chicken or the egg. Like they see our growth but also their minimum was way above ours.
Yeah.
So like how would we make that work if we can't get investment? And so I think that's also what led us to Shark Tank, for the possibility of having someone like a Lori be able to provide their network and their super strong experience in CPG and getting
Mhm.
brands out there.
And belief and their desire,
Believe
right?
me.
She wants to
Yeah.
win. She wants her investment to pay
I mean,
off.
look at where food business success brought us, you know?
Well,
If
thank you.
if Sari did that with a four-letter first name, what could Lori do, you know?
That's right. I mean, it is about bringing in advisors and people that have done it, are further along, who know the system and the process and can speed things up. Because at some point, if you guys couldn't get the
The
money to scale
copycats are
up,
already popping up. Like
right?
copycats are already
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
And at some point, you would kind of fizzle out. It's like, this is too effing hard
mhm.
to
It
not
is.
be like scaling.
And that's what a really good point Justin brought up too, is because we've worked so hard, like physically, mentally, every part of our life personally is part of this brand as well. And so we know how hard it's been. And now we're at that point where, all right, well, technically, from when we launched our biscuits, we're about to 4 years. It'll be 4 years in July since then.
Yeah.
And it's hard not to play the comparison game with other brands. There's other brands too that have been around for a lot longer that haven't scaled as big, or maybe that's not their goal. But with our goal and with seeing other, like Justin said, copycats already out there, like, all right, we need to get ahead of this and we need to get ahead of the competition. And competition is so hard. It's wild seeing
Yeah.
this in the CPG space and being part of it because you are like novel and in the beginning and you're this brand new product. And even now, if there's not copycats, at least we know we have the highest quality. But
And
there's
you have good love. Like
and
nobody
it's
else is good
yeah, and
love.
no one has our brand. We have a trademark brand, which was a huge success and win for us too, to be able to get those trademarks.
or celiac.
But that's only part of it. Like that's part
Yeah.
of the struggle.
Yeah.
Now it's like, all right, well, in order to scale
You
and
got to be first to
truly
market.
compete, is we need to get production numbers up.
Yeah. Yeah. So, what can you share with us, that happened a long time ago or, 7 months ago? So, is there anything you can share with us about working with Lori? Have you guys started the process? What's been going on behind the scenes, or does it all start now?
Basically, it's all starting now.
Okay.
It's a long process, like due diligence. So we are still working with their team, but it's all positive. I'll be able to say that, and we're really excited just about the future, and we
Yeah.
feel like we're in really good hands. But at the same time, what we want to share about us as business owners too is that we hope that they feel the same way, and we think they do, especially with just how we portrayed ourselves, and having that, combined um, feeling of just believing in where our brand could go. And so it feels good. It feels like a great partnership. We're still ironing out the details, but we've got lots of growth to happen in a short
Mhm.
amount of time, like the most we've ever experienced ever. And it's scary and daunting, but exciting at the same time.
Yeah, and this is what's required, right? This is why that book, right, 10x is easier than 2x. Like if you just keep grinding it out in little tiny increments, yeah, it's scary. This takes a lot of courage, but this is where there's a lot of momentum and excitement and um I don't know, just that yeah, I guess that momentum that starts happening and you're like you're willing to keep putting in doing the hard work things,
Yeah.
because
It's
you're seeing like things are happening.
Well, and what's even harder is that we wanted to go on Shark Tank to be able to help us in the production area. That's what we said too, is like we need help with producing and we need that
Yeah.
machinery or we need access to co-packers that you have, things like that. The reality of the situation is that because the show aired and we're still ironing out details, we have this even more insane demand. And we had to turn off
No.
the website again, which we haven't had to in a long time, but everything's sold out.
Yeah.
Um,
I
because we
figured
have
that would happen.
I don't even want to like say out loud the quantity, but I will say the amount of orders we got just because of the show was all of what we received in 2023 total. So we have a lot of work to do. What's cool about
We do have a ton of cinnamon, but no time.
and there's Justin. Um,
Ba-dum-bum.
but what we did sort of prepare for this. I mean, we've been preparing for a long time, so there are ways we can still scale and still, get hands in our facility and help to produce that. But we're still, working on that production area. We've had to already let our customers know that they're going to be waiting a little bit of time to get our
Yeah.
products, but you're going to love it. So thank you for waiting. And
Well, I
we are,
hope the show comes out and does the follow-up because I was watching the next segment, right, with the one with the soap and they did like the little follow-up and you guys are like, "Oh my gosh, we sold out again." And I mean, I would imagine your follower count is way up again on social and emails and all of that. And so again, I'm sure people listening think that sounds amazing. I want all of that. But there's still problems to solve, and you guys are going to be in the kitchen and a lot getting this done and getting orders out. But it's just incredible. I mean, to hear even your numbers, I remember that first year when you did, I don't know, was it like 10,000 or something like that very first year? And then you were like, we're on track to do 500,000 this year and 1.5 million next year.
it's so it's exciting. It is really, really cool to just go back and like see from just a very straight up numbers perspective how much we've grown. Because when you're in it day to day,
Yeah,
it's hard to celebrate those wins. It's hard to celebrate the fact that we've worked this hard and it shows. Because then but at the same time, you have these customers that are like, why can't I get my order?
yeah, you've done customer
Maybe it's their first,
service.
right. And well, I can't eat any of this because it's not dairy free. Or, customers that have
It's a buttermilk biscuit. There's
Yeah.
dairy.
And we are an inclusive product, but we also can't be the product for everybody. And I think that's hard with growth when people are like, well, I saw you on Shark Tank, but I can't eat your product. So I'm
Yeah.
going to give you a 1-star review. And it's like, put that energy somewhere else. Like, you don't need to tear us down. And so as we're still growing, we're still going to go through those moments of like, um, having to reflect and remind ourselves that we have all these customers that will wait for our products. They know how good our products are and they love us. And yeah, just have to be focused on the positive aspects versus the negative. And I
Yeah.
think that's what's going to get us through this really hard time.
Right. I mean, it's like with anything, you know. I mean, I was in Costa Rica and people were like, "Oh my gosh, you must have had the most amazing time." I'm like, "Yes, it was paradise, but also like it's life and you're in it and some days you're sick and some days, you know, people are mean or like it's not just because it's a like these are all awesome things to be
Yeah.
doing in your
I
life,
feel like I
but
wasn't basking on the beach every day, just
every
like,
minute with like cocktails being brought to me.
Yeah, no one sees Chanel having to take care of me because of my autoimmune issues, and like
Yeah, and you guys are such a team and
I don't see that.
care care for each other, right? And I know Justin, you forced Chanel to do a vacation and take some time off and you know, because you guys gotta take care of yourselves first and make sure you don't burn out because
Like, did you drink water today? No.
that is a
and
good
that's
point. I
amazing.
think as part of who we are as a brand too, is that we don't want to what's the word? We don't want to lower anyone's expectations and we don't want to lower our quality or sacrifice our personal lives and our own just like well-being. And we've had to go through stages where we realized after the fact, like we don't have to kill ourselves. Yes, we have this demand and yes, we'll get there, but we don't have to sacrifice like our just,
Your health, your
yeah, my
well-being,
health.
your mental sanity, your seeing friends or each other
I
outside of work.
Do we have lives outside of good love? Yes, we do. And we can still have that even though we have demand. Like it's okay. And that's probably the only way we're going to get through this is if we focus on like, well, the only way that we're actually able to or going to continue to be able to serve this huge need is if we take care of ourselves at the same time. And I think that as entrepreneurs who are in it, like literally we are so in it, like sometimes it's hard to see the light outside. It's that's the only way we're going to get through this. So,
Yeah,
the last time
absolutely.
my parents visited, we were working the double shifts, and like I woke my dad up at 2 a.m. just by making noise. He came out and he's like, "What are you guys doing?" Like, "Oh, we're going to the lab. We have to produce." Like, "What? No." Like, "I'm here on vacation visiting you." Like, "Yeah, I know. We want to get done so we can get back and hang out and go to lunch or whatever." But
Right.
my mom actually called this morning and she was like, "Are you guys working double shifts again? Because they'll be here on tomorrow." Oh
yeah.
my gosh. Uh,
Well,
yeah. So they're like, "Are we gonna
well,
be able
hopefully they'll see
to hang
progress
out?"
that you're not having to
Yeah.
work quite as
Oh,
much
they'll be
and
working. My dad just retired, but
yeah, put them to work.
they'll be packaging and
Absolutely. Free labor. I love that. Well, what a great conversation. Um, Chanel, Justin, I just cannot wait to see where things go. I'm sure we'll have you on again as you continue to grow and scale. You're very easy to find, but why don't you tell people where they can find you on social and online?
Yes, you can follow at Good Love Foods on social media, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. All of those are just at Good Love Foods, or you can find us goodlovefoods.com. We ship nationwide. If you're listening to this like right after the airing of the episode, we are sold out. So just stick with us, sign up for our emails. We'll let you know when we're back in stock. And then, we are working on distribution now. So just stick with us and you'll see us share where you can find us locally and regionally and eventually nationally. Or you can also order for pickup if you're in the local vicinity.
Amazing. So good. All right. Well, thank you guys for your time. I will let you get back to production. I really appreciate you guys are in the lab, in the office. I'm sure you're about ready to go back to work. So thank you so much for taking time out of your day
Very.
and just love you guys. So I hope we get to see you in person soon.
I know we have to celebrate together.
Yes. Amazing. All right. Have a
very
great rest of your day.
Thank you, Sari.
That was an incredible conversation. I have so much love for those guys. I cannot believe how far they have come in such a short amount of time and the risks that they are willing to take and the willingness to get advice and work with mentors and advisors and make investments in their business is just incredible. And obviously, it's paying off. And I want to invite you that if you feel a little stuck or you feel like you need that extra support, that mentorship and advising, whether you're launching, whether you're growing, or whether you're scaling, I have ways that I can help you. Go to foodbizsuccess.com. Go check out the signature program to help you launch and grow to 100K, or Master Your Business, my program to help you scale to 300K is available for purchase right now. Come and get the support that you need. Don't flounder. Don't do this like small incremental things. Make an investment in yourself, your business, and your future. I would love to support you. Until next time, have an amazing week. The smartest thing you can do as an entrepreneur is to invest in a who to help you with the how, to speed up your journey and help you skip the line. When you are ready for more support and accountability to finally get this thing done, you can work with me in 2 ways. Get me all to yourself with one-on-one business coaching, or join Food Business Success, which includes membership inside Fuel, our community of food business founders that includes monthly live group coaching calls and so much more. It's one of my favorite places to hang out, and I would love to see you there. Go to foodbizsuccess.com to start your journey towards your own food business success.